difference. If you're using a chat where it's telling you what to do with it, the agent is you tell it what to do, you can process with it, and then it goes and takes action on your behalf. That's the major difference. One of the things I want to talk about today is how you can build agents on your computer that you can take with you anywhere. So whether you're operating with Claude or OpenAI, Gemini, Grok, doesn't matter. Your agents are always yours. It's not living on the platform. And so that's one of the things I want to get into today, because I made some mistakes with some skill building recently, and then I uncovered that a lot of other people are doing the same thing. And I wanted to create clarity around how we manage our skills, how we manage our agents, and all that kind of stuff. And in fact, inside the Full Stack Founders community, I'm doing a workshop tomorrow it's going to be a multi-workshop presentation. So I'll do one this week and the next week and the next week, and they're all recorded in there. So I'm basically teaching how to create an agent that's your agent that doesn't live on a platform somewhere. It's on your computer. You can take it and use any brain you want. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude, it doesn't matter. And so I'm teaching how to build that out so that you can have agents that actually go and do things on your behalf instead of just tell you what to do. Because if you're using a chat.
Yeah.
That's the difference. If you're using a chat where it's the Claude chat and Claude.ai, or you're in ChatGPT and you're in the chat, you're giving it information and it's telling you what to do with it. Mm-hmm. The agent is you tell it what to do, you can process with it, and then it goes and takes action on your behalf. That's the major difference.
Yeah, and something interesting there is having it deploy on your behalf, something you said about any brain you want. We've said it before, and it's funny how we started with Codex outperforming Opus 4.7, because I've asked, hey, like, what is your current stack? And you laughed, you're like, hey, it's going to change. And as we've said, this ever-evolving world we find ourselves in when it comes to AI is the model that we use today might not be the model we use tomorrow, but having these files natively on your computer, these MD files can go from one to the other. That's the beauty. Like attaching a file to an email. You can, when properly set up, use these LLMs in a nimble approach, so it reduces the effort of going from Claude to ChatGPT or to Gemini or whatever might be the leading model at that point. When you said any brain you want, it's important to note, with my understanding of an agent, right? You could have this Harvard grad or this Stanford grad, congratulations, they can go out and do things for you. But if I were just to hire this Harvard grad into my organization, there's no SOP, there's no context provided, doesn't matter how smart they are. They might be able to figure it out, but if they forget every time they start, you're going to have a long, arduous process in getting things done, no matter how smart they are. In this metaphor, that brain being the LLM of choice.
Yeah, and the brain, that's like the thing that's processing. I would say like the leading models are processing better than most humans are going to process. It can also learn instantly. Whatever you teach it, it's not one of those things where you're going to have to teach it and show it over and over and over again. It can make mistakes, of course, but the onus is primarily on the person who's training the agent. So if the agent doesn't do something you want it to do, the idea of just blaming the agent, it's not a human being and be like, they're just stupid. You're like, no. Other people are using the same exact model and getting phenomenal results. So the quality of whatever you're getting out of it is really on you. And so that's something that I think has really shifted the sense of responsibility people have when they're working with these models. I mean, I still see it. I see people go, oh, feels like Claude got dumber and this and that. And maybe it's not operating as well as it was, and it's not solving the same problems. And, there's some objective data out there to suggest that. But, it's how well you train it. And that's, there's 5 components, basically, how I understand it, is how it comprises an agent. And one is they have skill or skills. There's memory. It's what the agent can remember. If you're using Claude, that's the instructions, basically. That's Claude.md file. That's how the agent thinks and decides. And then there's tools. That's what the agent can reach, APIs, scripts, the web, whatever. And then the state, what the agent is currently doing. And so the 5 components that make up an AI agent. And if you have each one of those things dialed in, then it's going to operate really well. But if there are people out there that are playing around with AI agents and they're not performing like they want, then one of those 5 things might be out of place. And, when I first started coding these things, I made mistakes. I didn't understand exactly how all these things worked, or that they should be separate files, and, things were getting gunked up, and I was loading way too much into a skill when it should have been a separate memory file.
That's it for today's stack, but we aren't done stacking. Join the school community to be amongst other entrepreneurs who are building their most effective stack and learning to implement AI more effectively than anyone else in the world. We'd love to see you in there. And for more content, be sure to check out one of these videos, and you can even hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you can get alerted of every new episode that drops week in and week out. That's it for today. We'll catch you guys in the next one.